Hi, this is a biology paper of Cambridge Education, paper 4 February March 2024. Okay, so this paper has got a number of questions. We will discuss the questions asked in this paper. Right, so let's start from question number 1. Number 1 says enzymes are catalysts. Describe what is meant by the term catalyst. So catalyst, we say this is a substance that usually increases or speeds up the rate of a reaction. All right, so that's what a catalyst is. But at the end of the day, it usually remains unchanged. Okay, it is not destroyed, so it remains unchanged at the end of the reaction. So when you're talking of a catalyst, we say that a catalyst is a substance that increases rate of reaction. Increases the rate of the reaction. Okay, and then also it remains unchanged by the reaction. All right, it does not change. Yeah, so that is what a catalyst means. All right, Roman 2 says enzymes are proteins. State the names of chemical elements found in all proteins. All right, so the chemical elements that we find in all proteins are usually carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, and nitrogen. All right, so these are the compounds that we find in all proteins. Okay, move to the next part. B says lipase is an enzyme found in human digestive system. Figure 1.1 shows the effect of pH on percentage activity of lipase. All right, so we have the graph here which is showing the rate of activity for this enzyme. All right, we have the percentage on the y-axis and we have the pH on the x-axis. Now the question says describe and explain the change in percentage activity of lipase shown in figure 1.1. All right, so we can start looking at it over here that we see there was no enzyme activity at a pH below 3.8. All right, but from 3.8 as pH increased to pH of 7, the rate of enzyme activity increased, and the rate of enzyme activity is maximum at the optimum pH, which is 7. Above 7, the rate of enzyme activity also decreased, and it actually stopped at the pH of 10.2. All right, why? Because no more collisions will take place at the active site of the enzyme has been denatured. Okay, yes, but here again at pH of 7 we had a high rate of enzyme activity. All right, so we'll write down the explanation that we have seen, that enzyme activity and ends at 10.2. Low pH denatures enzymes. Enzymes active sites. Fixed site has no products are formed. High pH also denatures enzymes. Okay, high pH also denatures enzymes. Then the rate of enzyme activity, increases from 3.8. The maximum rate is at optimum pH 7. At optimum pH 7. All right, then pH 7. Above pH 7, there is steep decrease in enzyme activity. Enzyme activity as less collisions occur due to damage of the enzymes by the high pH. All right, so this is what is seen in this graph. All right, the rate of enzyme activity was from 3.8 to 10, and of course, as pH increased from 3 to 8, from 3 to 7, rate of collision also increased because the pH was suitable. But again, after pH of 7, the rate of enzyme activity decreases. Why? Because the pH damages the what? The enzymes, and hence destroying the rate of enzyme reaction. C says, complete the word equation to show the substrate and products for lipase. All right, now lipase is an enzyme that acts on what? On lipids. All right, it acts on lipids. When it acts on lipids, what do we get? We get fat acids and glycerol as the product. So enzyme lipase is specific for lipids, and the products are fat acids and glycerol. Roman 2 says, lipase acts in the duodenum. Explain how the body provides a suitable pH for lipase activity. Now, we have to understand that in the duodenum, the condition is alkaline. All right. Now, how will the body produce this suitable pH for lipase to act upon? First of all, we'll say that through bile production. Okay, through bile production. Now, who produces bile? We say through bile production, which is made in the liver. All right. Yeah, so through bile production, which is made in the liver, but we have to know that bile is alkaline in nature. Okay, it's alkaline in nature. Now, because it is alkaline, it neutralizes the acidity from stomach, from the hydrochloric acid in stomach, providing a suitable pH for lipase activity. Providing suitable pH for lipase activity. All right, in the stomach, there is hydrochloric acid, which makes the environment there acidic. Now, in order for enzyme in the duodenum to work best, the acid has to be neutralized so that the enzyme lipase can work, and that is done by bile, which is produced in the liver. Okay, we are on to question number 2. Number 2 says, figure 2.1 shows a cross-section of human heart. All right, so this is the cross-section of the human heart. Okay, on figure 2.1, label with an R the position of the right ventricle. All right, so the right ventricle is on the left side of the diagram, the lower chamber on the left side of the diagram over here. So this one here will be labeled as the right ventricle. And then Roman 2 says, state the names of the structures labeled A and B. The structures labeled A and the structures labeled B. Now, A, this here is a valve, but it is a valve that is found between an atrium and a ventricle. Now, what is the name of this valve? This valve is known as atrioventricular valve. So, we'll say here, A is atrioventricular valve. And then we have B. B is this one here, found between the ventricle and this is way to the pulmonary artery. What is the name of this valve? This valve here is semilunar valve. Okay, so we'll label here semilunar valve. Okay, complete the sentence about blood vessel C. Where's blood vessel C? Yeah, here. Blood vessel C is here. It's carrying blood from the left ventricle to the body. All right. So blood vessel C transports blood from the heart to the body. Okay. So from the heart to the body, to all other parts of the body. That's what the aorta does. Okay, figure 2.2 shows a cross-section of a part of a heart that has an incomplete structure. All right, as we can see here, we have atria, and then we have an opening between two atriums, and then here we have incomplete structure, as it is said. Okay, explain how incomplete structure shown in figure 2.2 may affect ability of to transport oxygen. How will it affect ability to transport oxygen? Now, if these two are atrias, we have to understand that this one here will be the left atria, but this one here will be the right atria. All right. Now, the right atria is usually filled with blood that has a lot of carbon dioxide, while this one here is filled with blood that has a lot of oxygen. Now, this opening over here, it means it allows mixing of blood from both sides. Blood with carbon dioxide can enter to the left atrium, where we are supposed to only have blood that has oxygen. At the same time, blood with oxygen from the left atrium can enter into the right atrium, where we are supposed to have blood that has what? Carbon dioxide. Now, this results into mixing of oxygenated and deoxygenated blood. Okay? So we say here, it results into mixing of oxygenated and deoxygenated blood. All right. Okay, now when we have mixing of deoxygenated and oxygenated blood, what is the effect? Causing less oxygen supply, because blood is just mixing up, so not enough oxygen is being supplied into the body, causing less oxygen supply into the body. All right, now if we have low oxygen supply into the body, we are going to lower the amount of energy that is going to be what? Produced. Okay, so yeah, causing less supply of oxygen supply into the body and respiring tissues. Okay, so if we have less amount of oxygen supply, it means we have less or little amount of respiration taking place, so not enough energy will be found within this person's body. They might look very much tired always. Okay, C says figure 2.3 shows how the body uses aerobic and anaerobic respiration during the first 120 seconds of vigorous physical activity. Between 0 and 20 seconds, the body also uses stored energy. All right, so we have the graph here for anaerobic and aerobic respiration in the first 120 seconds. Now we have to describe this data. All right. Okay, so we'll start. Look first. We can first see here that the rate of anaerobic respiration is high, or it takes place rapidly in the first 20 seconds. It reaches its plateau. But then again, the rate of aerobic respiration is slow. It kind of increases slowly. All right, but also it plateaus at that at 100. All right, that's where it plateaus. But then again, the rate of aerobic respiration and anaerobic respiration is the same after 100 seconds. All right, so those are some things that we see, and we can note them down, that energy from anaerobic respiration plateaus or reaches its maximum after 20 seconds. So say here, energy from anaerobic respiration is at its maximum after 20 seconds, while energy from aerobic respiration is at its maximum after 100 seconds. All right, it kind of takes a long time. All right, then after that, the rate of aerobic and anaerobic respiration remains constant after 100 seconds. All right, so the rate of aerobic and anaerobic respiration remains constant after 100 seconds. But also the rate of aerobic respiration of anaerobic respiration increases very quickly, while the rate of aerobic respiration increases slowly. All right. Okay, so we say here NH from anaerobic respiration increases rapidly, very quickly, in just after 20 seconds, while from aerobic respiration increases rapidly, increases gradually. Yeah, so those are the things that we can discover from the graph, that aerobic is at its maximum after 20 seconds, while anaerobic takes 100 seconds. The rate of aerobic respiration and aerobic respiration is the same after 100 seconds, but also again, the rate of anaerobic respiration increases very rapidly, while that of aerobic respiration increases slowly or gradually. All right, state the balanced chemical equation for aerobic respiration. Now we know that aerobic respiration, this involves breakdown of glucose in presence of oxygen. Now how is glucose written? Glucose is C6H12O6. It reacts to 6 molecules of oxygen to give us what? To give us 6 molecules of carbon dioxide or 6 molecules of what? Of water. So that is the balanced equation for aerobic respiration. All right, during anaerobic respiration, an oxygen debt can build up. State the name of the chemical that causes this oxygen debt. All right, so the name that causes this oxygen debt to build up is called lactic acid. So we'll state here lactic acid, which is actually a product of anaerobic respiration in muscle cells. All right, we move to the next question. Question 3 says, figure 3.1 shows a growing plant. The plant is growing in the dark. Here is the plant, and of course it's growing in the dark. We can see a response of roots, and we can also see the response of what? Of plant shoot. All right, state the name of the growth response shown by the plant shoot. Now, because it's growing in the darkness, it means it has no response to light. All right. So what is it responding to? It's gravity. Now, this kind of response is usually known as gravitropism. Okay. Explain how the growth of the plant shoot in figure 3.1 is controlled. Now, growth of plant shoot and plant root is usually controlled by an hormone in plants known as auxin. Okay, so first of all, we'll say it is controlled by auxin hormone. All right, now auxin hormone is usually produced at the tip of what? Of the shoot. Okay, so the hormone, it is produced at the tip of the shoot. All right, after it's produced at the tip of the shoot, it usually accumulates on the lower side of the shoot and promotes cell elongation. All right, so it's produced at the tip of the shoot, then collects on lower and promotes cell elongation. Yeah, so this is what auxin does when promoting cell growth. Okay, plant roots growing towards water is another response to growth. State uses of water in plants. Okay, so what are the uses of water in plants? One is that it is used as a solvent. It's used as a solvent to dissolve substances within the plant and help transportation of these substances also. But also in plants, it is used for photosynthesis. It is used for photosynthesis. It's a very important substance needed for photosynthesis so that it can react with carbon dioxide to give glucose and oxygen. All right, yeah, so those are some uses of water in plants. All right, C says a student measured the root length of a bean seedling over a period of 120 hours. Figure 3.2 shows the results. Okay, then calculate the percentage increase in root length between 48 and 96 hours. Give your answer into 2 decimal places. Between 48 and 96 hours. All right. So let's see at 48 is here. So 48 is here. It's like 9 millimeters. Okay. So in 48 hours, the root length was like 9 millimeters. And then 96 hours. 96 hours. Okay, so 96 hours here is approximately 25 millimeters. Okay, so 96 hours is like 25 millimeters. Now calculate percentage increase. So percentage increase, we take the second reading, or reading number 2, which is definitely 25, minus the first one, which was 9, over originally 9, right? The answer that we get, we multiply it to 100. Let me work it out on my calculator here. 177.78. 177.78. All right. Yeah, so that is what is going to be the percentage increase. So we'll write it here as 177.78 what percent. All right. Question number 4. Question 4 says, figure 4.1 shows the concentration of female sex hormones during the menstrual cycle. As we can see here, we have the concentration of what? Of hormones in different days. We have the follicle stimulating hormone, we have the hormone which is represented by letter R, we have the hormone which is represented by S over here, and we have the hormone that is presented by progesterone. Now from the graph, identify the hormone R and the hormone S. Okay, so let's look at this hormone S over here. This hormone S is picking up, or is at its peak on almost day number 14. What is the name of this hormone? This hormone is usually known as luteinizing hormone, or you can write it LH as such. And then we have this hormone, I started with hormone S, not R. Okay, so this is LH. Now we have hormone R. Hormone R is at high concentration on the 5th, 6th, 10th days of menstruation. So this hormone here is usually known as the estrogen hormone. So we'll write it here is estrogen. Okay, state the day or days of the menstrual cycle shown in figure 4.1 where ovulation is most likely to occur. Now, ovulation is usually most likely to occur on day 14 or day 13, 14 of what? Of the menstrual cycle. So we'll stay here day 13, day 14. All right. Shedding of the uterine walls. Shedding of the uterine walls is usually occurring on the first days, approximately day 1 to day 7, all right, or 8 of what? Of the menstrual flow. So you can say 1 to 8 or 1 to 7 days. Okay, describe how concentration of progesterone hormone would change during pregnancy. Give a reason for your answer. All right, so during pregnancy, the concentration of progesterone hormone increases. All right, so we'll say here, during pregnancy, the concentration of progesterone hormone increases. Progesterone hormone increases. All right, why? So as to maintain the placenta, to maintain the growing pregnancy. All right, so it increases to maintain what? The growing pregnancy, and also to prevent some other processes like ovulation. All right, so reason: to maintain the uterus, which is actually maintaining the pregnancy, and prevent ovulation. Yeah. All right, so ovulation and shedding of the uterus, so it is there to maintain that to make sure that the uterus is maintained, not shedded away. Of course, preventing ovulation so that no other egg is released throughout the pregnancy. All right, state the sites of production of progesterone during a menstrual cycle and during pregnancy. Okay, so during menstrual cycle, where is progesterone produced? It's usually produced in the ovaries. All right, so stay here that it is produced in the ovaries. And during pregnancy, progesterone is produced in the placenta. All right, yeah, so these are the answers to this question. And then describe the role of FSH in menstrual cycle. So we know FSH stands for follicle stimulating hormone. What does it do? It stimulates maturation of eggs, or you can say follicles. All right, so here we can say it stimulates maturation of eggs. Yeah, this is what FSH does. All right. Question number 5 says that 5.1 shows part of a monkey flower plant. As we can see it over here, it has spots, has these big petals, right? It has stigma inside here. All right, yes. So state 2 pieces of evidence visible in figure 5.1 that show that monkey flower plants are pollinated by insects. All right, so one of the evidence is that it has large petals. We can see the petals are so large and they look colored. So we'll say here it has large petals. All right, but apart from that, we cannot see stigma or anther, so it means that they are in the flower. All right, but also we can see the patterns on the petals of the flower. Why are they there? To attract the insect. So we can speak of patterns on the petals to attract the insects. Patterns on petals to attract the insects. All right, so that's another feature that is visible on these flowers to show us that they are insect pollinated. All right, the monkey flower plant in figure 5.1 reproduces sexually. Describe the advantages and disadvantages of sexual reproduction for monkey flower plants. So let's start with the advantages. What is the advantages of sexual reproduction? First of all, we say that it increases genetic variation. Okay, this is the first thing. It increases genetic variation. Okay, but also we can say that it makes the plant less resistant. It makes the plant resistant to what? To diseases, especially genetic diseases. So here it is resistant. It can easily resist what? Diseases, not easily wiped out by diseases. Okay, but then again, it can easily adapt to the environment. Okay, easily adapt to environment, especially changing environment, because the genes are different within this particular plant. Okay, but then again, we have disadvantages. Apart from having advantages, we have disadvantages of this kind of reproduction. One of the disadvantages is that it requires 2 parents. It requires 2 parents. There must be 2 parents in order for the reproduction to take place. But also it's insect pollinated, so it requires pollinators, meaning that without pollinators, nothing is going to take place. All right, apart from requiring pollinators, it takes a long time. It takes a long time. All right, it takes a long time, and of course it requires what? Energy. So those could be the disadvantages of sexual and advantages of sexual reproduction. All right, we go to B. B says monkey flower plants were introduced to Europe from North America about 2,000 years ago. Scientists measured the leaf area of 5 monkey flower plants growing in Europe and 5 monkey flower plants growing in North America. The results are as shown in table 5.1 and table 5.2. Now we can see the ones growing in America, we have their leaf sizes over here and the mean that they have. And then the ones growing in America, also we have their leaf sizes over here, and we need to. All right, Roman 1 says, using the data in table 5.2, calculate the mean area for plants growing in North America. Give your answer as a whole number and include the unit. All right, here in order to get the mean, it means we sum this up. We sum the leaf surface area over here, all of them together, and divide them to 5. Now let me work it out again in my calculator here. It is 285 plus 310 plus 302 plus 315 plus 294. Okay, there were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Divide 5. 301. 301. Alright, so the mean leaf area is 301, which is 301. Give your answer as a 0.2, 301.2. Give your answer as a whole number and include unit, of course. So the whole number will not need to put the decimal point. So the leaf mean area will be 301 with the unit is centimeters square. Okay. State a conclusion for the results shown in table 5.1 and 5.2. Okay, so if we look at the mean that we have obtained over here, we find that these ones here in Europe have large mean area than the ones that are in North America. So we can end up saying that plants in Europe have greater leaf area than those in what? In America. So say here, plants in Europe have greater mean area than the ones in North America. Yeah, so this is what we have obtained. Okay, ancestors of monkey flower plants had a much smaller leaf area. Explain how monkey flower plants have developed larger leaf area over time. Alright, so first of all, mutations. Mutations might have taken place which have resulted to changes in the genes of these plants. But also, there might be some factors like competition for natural resources like light, alright, but also there could be natural selection, alright. So one of the things that might have happened is mutation. Mutation might have resulted into the changes, but apart from mutation, we have competition for resources. Competition for resources like light. Apart from that, we have natural selection. Alright, that maybe the ones that have larger leaf area were selected and at the end they were able to survive. Alright, so how would you say natural selection? So at the end of the day, we say that the plants with larger surface area were better adapted to the environment. And they were able to reproduce and pass their genes into many other generations over a longer period of time till they were common in the population. So these factors like mutation, like natural selection, like competition allowed the ones that had bigger leaf surface area to survive. As they are surviving, they are able to reproduce, to photosynthesize, and of course the genes in them, the genes for larger surface area, were carried on to the other generations over time until they were found that they take a very long period of time. Alright, on to question number 6. Figure 6.1 shows part of the carbon cycle in the ocean. We have part of the carbon cycle. So we can see here, we have the sun, we have carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, then we have the ocean surface, and we have organisms in the ocean surface which are like phytoplankton. Phytoplanktons are feeding on krills. Krills are krill feces. We have zooplanktons eating krill feces, like that. Then Roman 1 says phytoplankton contain chlorophyll. Explain how phytoplankton lower carbon dioxide concentrations in the atmosphere. Now, because they contain chlorophyll, it means they are able to photosynthesize. Alright, now how would they photosynthesize? The chloroplast and chlorophyll will trap carbon dioxide and use it for what? For photosynthesis. Alright, so we can say that they trap carbon dioxide to be used in the photosynthesis process. Yeah, so this is what phytoplanktons do in order to lower carbon dioxide concentration. Suggest the role of zooplankton in this ecosystem. We can see zooplanktons eating krill feces, so it's like they are cleaning up the environment in this ecosystem. Hence, we will name them as decomposers. Right? Yes. Okay, then the next question says, state the names of two processes that add carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. One of the processes that adds carbon dioxide into the atmosphere is respiration. Why? Because in the process of respiration, carbon dioxide is being given out as a waste product. So the process of respiration produces carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. So it's one of the processes that is increasing carbon dioxide in there. So we'll say respiration. Apart from respiration, we have decomposition. Okay, decomposition or decaying of something. It usually produces carbon dioxide also. Roman 4 says, describe the effect of on the environment of additional carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. Now, what is the effect of carbon dioxide? No, carbon dioxide is a greenhouse gas. So it results into increase in concentration of carbon dioxide gas. Now, if we have increased carbon dioxide gases production, what is another effect? Increased global warming. Okay, so we expect enhanced greenhouse effect, which can result into global warming. So we'll say carbon dioxide is a greenhouse gas. All right. Addition of carbon dioxide enhances greenhouse effects causing global warming. Yeah, so this is the effect of additional carbon dioxide into the environment. All right. B says figure 6.2 shows the pyramid of energy for a food chain in an ecosystem, ocean ecosystem. On the figure 6.2, label the trophic level containing herbivores. Now, herbivores, we know that these are primary consumers because they feed on what? They feed on producers. So, this part here will be labeled as herbivores. Okay. Roman 2 says, explain why pyramid of energy usually have fewer than 5 trophic levels. Alright, it has fewer than 5 trophic levels, first of all, because energy is lost in each trophic level. That's the first thing. Energy is lost in each trophic level. That's the first thing. Apart from energy being lost in each trophic level, it means less energy is transferred to other levels. Okay, so energy is lost maybe through respiration, through excretion. All right. Okay, so less energy is transferred to other levels. Levels to support the organisms. All right. Now, how energy is lost? It is lost through, let's say, through waste. All right. Okay. And also, some parts are usually not eaten. Let's say you plant some organisms just eat certain parts of a plant, maybe leaves but not roots, so energy is lost in such ways. Roman 3 says, state the two advantages of using pyramid of energy rather than pyramid of biomass to represent the number of food chain. All right, so pyramid of energy, first of all, it shows the actual energy transfer. All right, so the first thing is that pyramid of energy shows the actual energy transfer. Okay, yeah. So apart from showing the actual energy transfer, it accounts for time. Okay, it accounts for time taken is also considered, and hence this makes pyramid of energy more beneficial than pyramid of biomass. All right, C says the ocean contains fish stocks that can be managed as suitable resource to provide food for humans. State what is meant by sustainable resources. Sustainable resources, we say these are resources that must be reproduced as rapidly as they are used. All right, so sustainable resources, we say these are resources that should be produced rapidly as they are used. You can say that should be produced or should be replaced as rapidly as they are used. They should not run out. They should not run out. It means they should not be out of accessibility. They should always be there. Okay. Fishing can be managed to promote the conservation of fish stocks. Explain one way that fishing can be managed to allow the conservation of fish stocks. All right. So one way would be through providing education, through establishing closed seasons, through establishing quotas, having specific sizes for fishing. All right, smaller fishness, so that we only fish the big fishes, not catching until the small fishes. Okay, closed season to allow breeding for the fish, providing education to the people so that the people can understand why we have closed sessions, why are we only fishing this size of the fish. All right, yes, so we can say providing education to the people. So providing education on benefits of preventing overfishing and allowing fish to breed. Yes, so that would be one way we could conserve fish stocks. All right, so this was the last question for this paper. Okay, yeah, thank you.